Today I wish to reflect on a harsh but enduring truth I once articulated. The paradise of the rich is made out of the hell of the poor. These words, born out of my deep observation of society, were not meant to incite class hatred, but to awaken a moral awareness, a recognition of the profound social imbalance that has plagued humanity for centuries. Why I quoted this, and what it meant. This statement captures the bitter irony of human progress and wealth accumulation. It highlights the often ignored reality that the comfort and luxury enjoyed by the wealthy are too frequently built upon the suffering, exploitation, and degradation of the less fortunate. When I wrote Les Misérables, I sought to expose the systemic injustices that trap the poor in cycles of misery, even as the rich flourish in grand estates, insulated from the hardships of the common people. The barricades of Paris in 1832, the starving families, the child laborers, and the desperate struggle of men like Jean Valjean. These were not just characters, but reflections of a deeply fractured society. How this applies today. Though the world has changed greatly since my time, this truth remains relevant. Today, the gap between the wealthy and the poor has reached unprecedented levels. Billionaires launch themselves into space, while millions struggle for the basic necessities of life. The global economy, while having lifted many out of poverty, still leaves billions behind, trapped in cycles of debt, exploitation, and economic instability. Consider the garment worker in Bangladesh, the miner in the Congo, or the laborer in a sprawling Amazon warehouse. The fruits of their labor enrich others, but often leave them destitute. The digital age has created new fortunes, but it has also fostered new forms of economic dependence and inequality. Advice for today and the future. Recognize our shared humanity. Wealth should never come at the cost of human dignity. A truly civilized society is one that measures its progress not by the opulence of its elite, but by the welfare of its poorest members. Demand fairness and justice. Do not accept the comforting myths of meritocracy without questioning the structures that limit true opportunity. Wealth, if built upon exploitation, is a fragile and unjust foundation. Embrace the power of empathy. The wealthy should remember that their comfort depends on the labor of others. With wealth comes a responsibility, not just to share, but to reform the systems that create such stark disparities in the first place. Support policies that lift the poor. Advocate for fair wages, workers' rights, universal education, and access to health care. These are not just charitable acts, but essential investments in the stability of society itself. Remember the lessons of history. The revolutions of my time, the struggles for freedom and dignity, were born of the same frustrations that simmer today. If we ignore the cries of the oppressed, we sow the seeds of our own downfall. A final thought. As I wrote in Les Misérables, to love or to have loved, that is enough. Ask nothing further. But to truly love one's fellow humans, one must also fight for their freedom, their dignity, and their right to a life free from oppression. In the end, the paradise of the rich is secure only when it is built upon a foundation of justice and compassion, not upon the suffering of the poor. This is the lesson of history and the demand of our shared humanity. Thank you, and may we always strive for a more just and compassionate world.